Hello, everyone. Welcome to Football Friday. The weeks just keep rolling, guys. We're already going into NFL Week 2. Week 2 started last night with the Chargers and Chiefs. We'll talk about that game, talk about the Monday night closer, the Broncos and Seahawks game, and then we'll get into NFL news, some ins and outs for this weekend, and talk about the upcoming college and NFL slates. Logan will be on shortly, but I'll just start it off here with the Monday night game. This thing was crazy, y'all. Everyone and their mother expected Russell Wilson to go into Seattle and beat his former team. He did not, however, get that done. Unfortunate for me because I live bet the Broncos money line. But did hit on the Seahawks +7 or 6.5, whatever I had, which was nice to see. But Geno Smith was fantastic, 82.1% completion, 195 yards, 2 touchdowns, 6 carries, 14 yards. Again, that's what Geno does. No turnovers. It's exactly what Geno does. So he was probably the biggest story. Had a great line at the end. The reporter asked, Geno, they wrote you off. He said, they wrote me off. Yeah. And I didn't write back, which was just, classic line from Geno there. But otherwise in this game, running game for both teams was very solid. Penny for the Seahawks was averaging 5 yards carry, 12 carries, 60 yards. 2 catches, 7 yards. Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams, both good averages. I was pissed. Javonte, you didn't score in the end zone. You fumbled instead. Both running backs fumbling at the 1 yard line. And the Broncos' red zone offense was just absolutely horrendous all night long. Kudos to the Seahawks defense there. But yeah, Javonte Williams, 7 carries, 43 yards, a fumble, and a crazy receiving stat line. 11 receptions for 65 yards, 12 targets for Javonte Williams. So yeah, that was a crazy thing for him, even though he didn't get that many carries on the ground. Jerry Jeudy, your leading receiver in this one, 4 catches, 102 yards, touchdown on 7 targets. Most of that came on a long touchdown. I believe it was like 61 yards from Russell Wilson. Their first big hookup of the season. So Jeudy got the only touchdown for Denver, and then the touchdowns for Seattle came from the tight ends. Colby Parkinson, Will Dissly. You notice DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett not on the screen. Parkinson, Dissly, your 2 leading receivers for the Seahawks in this game. And my defense player of the game, it's got to go to the winning side. So I'm going to go linebacker Uchenna Nwosu, pick up for them from the Chargers, I believe. 7 tackles, 3 of them solos, a sack, tackle for loss, pass deflection, and 2 QB hits. The Seahawks covered. Seahawks covered +6, and the under 43.5 hit easily. Also want to talk about, just going back to that game there, the crazy decision by by head coach Nathaniel Hackett, first-time head coach. What are you doing, bro? 4th and 5, right? You gave up boatload of picks and players to get this man, number 3, Russell Wilson. Paid him $250 million. And instead of trusting that man that you gave up all those picks and players for, utilized all those resources for, you're going to kick a 64-yard field goal, which is longer than your kicker's career long. it just didn't make sense, especially after he shanked the first one when Seattle called a timeout. It made no sense. I would trust Russell Wilson every single time to get 5 yards. It's not like it's a 4th and 10, 4th and long. It's 4th and medium. I'm just saying, you're telling me Russell Wilson can't get you 5 yards. If he can, he can't, which I agree. Peter Schrager said that. I think it was Peter Schrager on Good Morning Football. If he can't get it, if they don't convert on 4th down, I'm fine with that. At least you went for it and didn't go for the crazy thing, to tie the NFL record career, field goal length. So I don't like it. Many people didn't like it. Questionable call by Nathaniel Hackett there. Last night, the Chiefs, they stay undefeated, 2-0, 27-24 win over the Chargers at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. Justin Herbert, what can you say about that man? Just a gutsy performance. Of course, I was mad. I had Chiefs -4. Everyone and their mother was on Chargers +4, +4.5, whatever number you got it at. So yeah, luckily I did get Chiefs -2.5 live, so I did hit that one, but didn't cover necessarily the Chiefs -4 that I had. But anyways, yeah, Herbert was great. 68.8%, 334, 3 touchdowns. That one pick was a key, though. That one turnover, the only turnover of the game, I believe. Big time pick 6. Jalen Watson, 7th round rookie out of Washington State. Got it done. 99 yards to the house. Blame it on Gerald Everett. Everyone else is. Mahomes wasn't that great. He didn't look that good. The offense was absolutely terrible at the first half. Got it going a little bit in the second half behind Clyde Edwards-Helaire running the ball. Mahomes passing the ball. He's passing it short. They weren't letting anything long. So let's see if that continues this year against the Chiefs defensively. But yeah, Mahomes 68.6%, 235, 2 touchdowns. Edwards-Helaire was great. 8 carries, 74 yards, 4 catches, 44 yards. I hate it though. I have Isaiah Pacheco in many leagues, and it's not looking good. Eckler, 14 carries, 39 yards, not much on the ground, but 9 receptions, 55 yards, 10 targets through the air. Great receiving game, PPR for him. Jerick McKinnon scored a touchdown, and like I told my roommate, this was like the no-name touchdown game. It was just crazy that all these random guys were scoring, except for one, Mike Williams, the only notable player really to score. He had 8 catches, 113 yards, and a touchdown on 10 targets. But yeah, like McKinnon scores, Gerald Everett had 10 targets, 6 for 71. Kelsey didn't score. He was your leading receiver for Kansas City, though. 5 catches, 51 yards on 7 targets. But look, Justin Watson scored. Okay. Justin Watson, Jerick McKinnon. Did I not put the the other touchdown scores on here for Xander Horvath scored, the fullback for the Chargers. And then Joshua Palmer, he scored for the Chiefs, the Chargers as well at the end to kill the -4. But anyways, yeah, the defensively, Willie Gay was great all night, but I got to give it up. I have to give it up to the rookie, Jalen Watson. 4 tackles, 3 solos, a pass deflection, 99-yard pick 6. Chris Jones was also fantastic in the second half. Defensive tackle for the Chiefs, 3 tackles, 2 solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, pass deflection, 2 QB hits. Chargers cover +4, under 52.5 hit. 51 scored in this game. USFL news. We have one note for the USFL. 7 of the 8 head coaches will return next season. However, New Orleans Breakers head coach Larry Fedora will not be returning. He is taking some more time with his family. So the Breakers are looking for a new head coach. We'll have to wait and see who that is. NFL news in terms of injuries, couple notable ones, big time. The Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, he had successful surgery on his throwing thumb. He is out about 3 to 4 weeks. They're not putting him on IR. Jerry Jones said he thinks he can be back before the 4 weeks. So we'll have to see if that is the case. The Chargers. It was just announced that Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert, he has a fracture in his rib cartilage. So they will assess him and see where he's at. Luckily for him, he gets a couple of days extra off this week in order to rest those up. But yeah, big time news for LA. Hopefully he can return by next week, but he is considered day-to-day at this point. They said it's better to have a cartilage fracture than an actual bone fracture. So I'm happy about that for my MVP pick. Guys going on IR this week. Steelers officially placing linebacker TJ Watt on IR with his pec injury. He's out about 6 weeks, they said, rehabbing that. Bad news for the Seahawks safety Jamal Adams. He is out for the year. He tore his quad. Chiefs placing rookie corner Trent McDuffie on IR. Patriots doing the same with running back Ty Montgomery. 49ers running back Elijah Mitchell going on the list, as is Broncos safety Justin Simmons with a thigh injury. And Dolphins right tackle Austin Jackson also going on IR. One player getting put on the NFI list, also out a minimum of 4 weeks. Bears offensive lineman Alex Leatherwood. He has mono, so he is out at least for 4 weeks. All right, ins and outs. This is what everyone wants to know. Who is in, who is out for the weekend? Starting off the Steelers, running back Najee Harris, he is in. He is good to go despite the foot injury last week. 49ers tight end George Kittle, he is a game time decision. So got to monitor his situation leading up to the 49ers game there. Packers, they have a bunch of guys on the injury report, all questionable. Wide receiver Alan Lazard with an ankle. Offensive lineman David Bakhtiari with a knee. Elkton Jenkins with a knee. And John Runyon with a concussion. Like I said, all the Packers are questionable this weekend. Ravens running back J.K. Dobbins, with his knee injury, he is questionable. Hope to see J.K.'s debut coming up soon. I need him in fantasy. So J.K. hopefully can be 100% and be on the field rather shortly here. Patriots quarterback Mac Jones, he is good to go. Had some back spasms last week, but he will play this weekend. Saints running back Alvin Kamara with his rib injury, he is questionable. The Colts linebacker Shaquille Leonard, he is out, as is rookie wide receiver Alec Pierce. Leonard dealing with the back rehab from the back surgery he had in the offseason, and Alec Pierce coming off concussion. He is in concussion protocol still, trying to work his way back. Cardinals wide receivers Rondale Moore and Andy Isabella, they are both out this week. Falcons running back Damian Williams, he is out with a rib injury. The Bucks wide receiver Chris Godwin, he is out, nursing that hamstring injury. Also with the Bucks left tackle Donovan Smith, he is doubtful. So I would assume it's Chris Wells again. And finally for the Bucks wide receivers Mike Evans, Russell Gage, and Julio Jones, all questionable, as is running back Leonard Fournette. Hope Lenny can play, but again, have to make sure. Yeah, no, you got to get those. Got to get all those notifications. Make sure, look at the injury reports. Check the actives, inactives lists when they come out an hour and a half before kick. Some transactions. The Colts, they have a new kicker. They cut kicker Rodrigo Blankenship. Missed a couple field goals last week in their tie with the Texans. And they signed former Colts kicker Chase McLaughlin. So he is the new guy in Indy once again. And then the 49ers, they signed running back Marlon Mack to the practice squad. Elijah Mitchell out on IR, needing some running back depth in San Fran. College pick standings. Yeah, Logan is still leading by 4 games. But it's okay. It's all right. We all went the same record last week. I had to get the lone dogs here, lone wolf. So a couple lone wolves last week. Logan, I believe, went 2-2 on his. Yeah, he had the only lone wolves last week. He went 2-2. Tennessee, he won that one against Pitt. Stanford, he lost against USC. Baylor, he lost against BYU. And then Oregon State, he won over Fresno State. But yeah, I'm still 4 games back. Mark is 5 games back. All right, tonight we got 2 games. Florida State at Louisville. Louisville is a 2.5-point underdog at home. Look, I am on Louisville +3. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's my guys' play, so play of the day, max play, whatever you want to call it. But I'm on the Cardinals spread. However, I am picking Florida State. I do think the Seminoles can get it done. If they play like they did against LSU week 1, I don't think there's any doubt that that Florida State can get it done against Louisville. So I'm going to go with the Seminoles with Logan. Mark is lone wolfing the Cards. So I wouldn't be disappointed if I lost this one because I do have money on it. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good game tonight, though. Over-under is 56.5. I'm going to go under. I think the defenses are going to be a little bit better. I don't think Florida State is as explosive as Louisville could be. But I do think Florida State's defense is going to hold Louisville down a little bit. So I think it's going to be a close game, but under 56.5. We're not going to get to 8 touchdowns. This one is 7:30 on ESPN. Air Force at Wyoming. The Falcons getting 17 points on the road. Yeah, I am very happy I got this bet in way early in the week. I got it in on Wednesday. And luckily I did because I got it at 15. So loving it that it went up a whole 2 points at this point in the week, game tonight. So yeah, I love getting 15 earlier in the week. Give me the Fighting Falcons here. They're going to beat the Cowboys relatively easily on the road there. Over-under is 47. I'm going to go under. I think something along the lines of 35-10 should be adequate. I could see it at 45. It's relatively close, but I don't think they can go over 47 here. 8 p.m. on CBS Sports. Saturday, tomorrow, number 1 Georgia at South Carolina. Yeah, the Gamecocks aren't going to be an issue, I don't think, for Georgia. They're gonna fix some of the stuff they didn't do well against Samford. They're gonna get it right. Spencer Rattler's not gonna throw for 375 yards like he did against Arkansas last week. I can tell you that right now. Again, I don't necessarily like 25. That's a lot of points in an SEC matchup, but and it is on the road in Columbia. So, which is a crap city, by the way, just saying. Stayed in there for like a week this summer, was not a great experience. But anyways, yeah, Georgia will have no problem. They'll go on the road and they will beat South Carolina. Over under is 55. Give me the over. 12 p.m. ESPN. UConn at number 4, Michigan. Yeah. The Wolverines are 47.5-point favorites at home at the Big House. Not going to be an issue for Michigan and the Yellow M's there. Easy day for them. Over under is 60. Give me the over. I think it's a rout and they cover possibly. 12 p.m. ABC. However, Michigan didn't cover last week against Hawaii. 53 it was, and they only beat them 52 to 10 or something like that. Number 6, Oklahoma at Nebraska. The Sooners getting 11 on the road. Old Big 12 rivalry here. No Scott Frost anymore for Nebraska. And that's what scares me about the Oklahoma thing is that we know the new coach comes in, right? And it kind of like, I don't know, there's just something about having a different coach come in and your coach getting fired that kind of perks you up and like, bro, we got to do something about this. So I do expect Nebraska to play better than they have been, but the Sooners offense is going to be way too much. Dylan Gabriel, Marvin Mims, etc. You know, I love 11 here for Oklahoma, and I would hammer that if you can. Over under is 66. I'm going under. I do think that's too many points. I do love the 11, but I'm just not sure how much they're going to score. The over is definitely possible. I could see a situation where they scored the over. I think the defense for Oklahoma is going to do a good job, though, of limiting Casey Thompson and the offense of Nebraska. That one's 12 p.m. on Fox. Michigan game, if I didn't say it, 12 p.m. ABC. Youngstown State, the Penguins at number 9, Kentucky. The Wildcats, they are at home here. We didn't have the FCS, FBS lines up yet, so don't know what the spread is. Would assume it's very high. But yeah, I think the Penguins might give Kentucky a little bit of game in the first quarter, anyways. But yeah, I think the Wildcats are very excited. They're rolling after their win at Florida last week, and they should be good to go in this one. I think Chris Rodriguez is out once again, though. I think he's returning next week, not this week. So we'll have to wait and see. 12 p.m. SEC Network for this game. Texas State at number 17, Baylor. The Bears at home after their double overtime loss to BYU last weekend. Look, Baylor's going to come back with a vengeance. They're 30-point favorites at home. They are going to rout Texas State, and it's not going to be a good time for the Wildcats, for the Bobcats on the road here. Over-under is 53. I am hitting the over button. 53 is pretty low for college football, and Baylor, I think, could do the over here by themselves. 12 p.m. FS1. Number 12, BYU at number 25, Oregon. Logan is lone wolfing the Oregon Ducks at home in Eugene. They're getting 3.5 at home. Look, BYU is good, guys. And Oregon is not. Look, they got absolutely annihilated week 1 by the best team in the country, Georgia. 49-3. You know, that's just ridiculous. So to tell me that just because they're at home, they're going to beat BYU? No. BYU is a better team. Jaron Hall is a better quarterback than Bo Nix. and they have better skill positions. I'm hoping Puka Nacua can play in this game, as well as Gunnar Romney. But I'm not sure if they're going to play. Regardless, I mean, they had the kid last week, Chase Roberts, absolutely lights out. So the Hall to Roberts connection, I think, could be one to watch in this game. The BYU defense is very stout as well. Love the guys, Max Tooley and all the rest of the guys there on defense. So give me the Cougars, Logan Lone Wolf and the Ducks. Over under is 58.5. Give me the under. Yeah, give me the under. Give me the under. 3:30 on Fox. Number 20, Ole Miss at Georgia Tech. Ole Miss getting 17 points on the road in Atlanta. I'm very tempted to take Tech plus 17. I tried to roll with Tech week 1 against Clemson plus 24.5, plus 23.5, I think it was, and did not work out. But I'm very tempted. I might look into taking Tech spread here. I think they could cover 17 against an Ole Miss offense that hasn't looked like an Ole Miss offense in the first 2 games. So Jackson Dart's really got to step it up if the Rebels want to contend in the SEC this year. Over under 63.5. Give me the under. Tech's defense is pretty good, you guys. So yeah, give me the under 63.5 there. 3:30 on ABC. Number 22, Penn State at Auburn. Yeah. Why can't the Nittany Lions go in to Auburn and beat War Eagle? I see no reason why they can't, because they have a running game now. Look, Nicholas Singleton and the rest of the guys, Kevon Lee, and I always blank on the other freshman's name, but that trio is very good, and I would expect them to run the ball when they can. Clifford's going to make the throws he has to, and he has been stellar since that Purdue drive to win the game in week 1 on Thursday night, that game. So 2.5 on the road. Give me the Nittany Lions. Give me my boys. It's a big game. I'm going to be talking to my guy Nate about possibly live streaming again like we did last year for the Penn State Auburn game. We'll see if that can happen this week or not. But yeah, Nittany Lions on the road. Over under is 48.5. Under. Defense abound. 3:30 on CBS. SEC on CBS. Monroe, the Warhawks in Tuscaloosa at number 2, Alabama. Yeah, this is going to be a massacre. Alabama getting 49.5 at home. That's just ridiculous. Yeah, Alabama, they changed. ESPN changed the logos up on me for some of these teams. Alabama no longer on ESPN has the circular logo. It's the Alabama A. So had to find that one online to get it here. But yeah, Alabama, this will be easy win. Monroe, not the greatest team. I'm surprised they do a win already though, which is good for them. But Bama's gonna crush them. Over under 61.5 over. 4 p.m. SEC Network. Liberty at number 19, Wake Forest. Yeah, Hugh Freeze's team 2-0, but Wake Forest is good, guys. Sam Hartman came back with a vengeance last week. Had a stellar day, 304 touchdowns, 300 yards, 4 touchdowns there. The Demon Deacons should get this done easily, I think. I don't like the spread necessarily, so don't take it. But yeah, I like Wake Forest in this game. Over under 63.5. Give me the over. I could see something similar to their game like last week against Vandy. I believe that one was 45-25. Yeah, I could definitely see something like that. That's 70 points. That gets you over 63.5. 5 p.m. ACC Network. Toledo at number 3, Ohio State. Again, another game. It's early on in the season. Most conferences will start conference play next week. But, yeah, it's not going to be close. Toledo, while they are one of the better MAC teams, I would say, it's Ohio State. And I think they got their offense figured out last week. So, yeah, the Buckeyes will roll in this one. I don't like 31 necessarily here. They'll probably cover it, but I'm not looking at that one. Over-under is 62. It's a tough number in this game. I just don't know what the Toledo offense is going to do. Not sure if Ohio State's going to cover that by themselves or not with a 31-point favorite. I'm going to go over 62. I think it will be close, but I think just over, they could get it done there. 7 p.m. on Fox. Arkansas Pine Bluff 2-0 coming to number 8 Oklahoma State. The Lions. I love Arkansas Pine Bluff's logo. It's just crazy. Golden Lions. I just love their logo. What is up, my friend?
Hello, my guy. How are you?
Good, man. I've been rolling along, dude.
Hey, I love to see it. Appreciate you getting things going in the interim.
Yes, sir. Just to catch up, I'll see if you have any thoughts on anything that we've covered so far. Monday Night Football. I forgot to put that on the script, but the Monday Night Football recap. Thursday night, any of the injuries. I've added a bunch too that I've written down and said on here, but and then any of the college games up to this point.
Yeah, I think I just, want to say that generally there was some good news with some guys, TJ Watt especially. Some good news on Dak too, I think. I think it's around 4 games, right? 4 to 6. Yeah, that's not
3 to 4, I think, because Jerry said they're not putting him on IR.
Yeah. That's huge news because that's potentially season-saving news. You know what I mean? If they can eke out a few wins with Cooper Rush while they're waiting, they're still in a decent position. So that's good. Tough break for Jamal Adams. You hate to see it, but injuries are a part of the game, and you just got to roll with the punches.
Your thoughts on Nathaniel Hackett's call on Monday night?
Well, so Brandon McManus tweeted out that was his mark, that was there. So technically he was following his, the team's game plan in terms of it. But if that's your plan, you just need to know that's insane. That's absurd. Right. I don't care how good of a salesman Brandon McManus is on how good of a leg he has. And he has a great leg. I'm sure he's made that kick in practice a few times, but this isn't practice. This is a game. You can't set your line to gain at what would essentially tie the NFL record. That's just not going to win you a lot of games. And, someone made the good point. You gave all that for us. You had so much time left. I understand that it was 4th down, but it was 4th and manageable. This wasn't 4th and 10. You go and get a guy like that to pick up that yardage. So, yeah, didn't love it. Yeah, an uber conservative call and just, not a good look.
Yeah, I lost on the Broncos live money line on that one, and then I lost last night on Chiefs -4.
Mm.
The FAA bets Twitter account is not doing well right now. We're 1-4. The Packers didn't help us last week. And we got walked off. We got walked off on the Panthers money line on a 58-yard field goal from a freaking rookie. So,
Yep.
Hopefully Sunday we can get it turned around finally.
Hey, like we said last week, man, it's a fluky week, man. Just keeps happening.
But yeah, did you have anything special to add to any of the games up until Arkansas Pine Bluff here?
The only thing that I can think of up to the games is I'm actually really excited for tonight's game. I'm hoping to catch that. Florida State, Louisville. One guy that I want to look at, two guys that I really want to look at is Jared Verse, edge defender for Florida State, and then Malik Cunningham, and see how those guys kind of go up head to head. I think that, Jared Verse is a guy that he can show that he can keep a guy like Malik Cunningham in the pocket with how many mobile quarterbacks there are now, that his draft stock is going to go way up. Same with Malik Cunningham. If you can go up against a team like, FSU and look decent. He's got athleticism for days, but there are some serious questions still about his passing ability. Either way, I think it's going to make for a super entertaining game. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, Mark Lone Wolf the Cards tonight. I am on them though. I am on +3, so hopefully they can cover that. But I'm excited to watch Air Force. I told the story, dude. I put Air Force spread in way early. I put it in on Wednesday, dude, because I knew that thing was going to go up, and I got it at 15. It's now 17. So double point value I got putting it in on Wednesday, which I was very happy to see.
Nice.
Always love getting that point value there on the spreads. But yeah, Arkansas Pine Bluff. I was going on a rant about how I love the Golden Lions logo.
Yes. Yep. The big mane.
Yeah. But yeah, Spencer Sanders is gonna have a lot to say about their logo in this game. It's not gonna be pretty. The Cowboys are gonna roll, and we don't have spreads because they didn't put them out yet for the FCS FBS games. So 7 p.m. Big 12 Network and ESPN Plus. Missouri State, the Bears at number 10 Arkansas. Mark's alma mater on the road. I told, Will he's an Arkansas fan. He's from Arkansas. I told him, I was like, dude, look, Missouri State is a good team now. They're going to give Arkansas a time. I don't think it's going to be just another FCS team just getting rolled over, because Missouri State is the number 5 ranked team in the FCS. So I did pick KJ Jefferson and the Hogs, though.
Yeah, I sorry, Mark. I don't know about that one. I think Arkansas is just too good of a team. I think they're going to be good enough to compete in the SEC a little bit. So yeah, I do feel like they're going to roll.
I'm telling you, it's going to be closer than people think. And I think I'm like 50-50 this year. Talking about FCS teams. So we'll see. But yeah, 7 p.m. SEC Network Plus and ESPN Plus. Akron, the Zips at number 15, Tennessee. Yeah. The Vols getting 47 at home. Hey, Akron gained a half a point. They took the hook away. It was 47.5. Someone put some money on Akron to get that down.
That's incredible, actually. What if it comes down to that? That would be just all time.
But yeah, this is going to be a nice warm-up game for Tennessee. They are beginning SEC play next week, so they're gonna need to come out of this one healthy to host Florida next week.
Mm-hmm.
Over under is 67. I am going under 67.
Yeah.
7 p.m. SEC Network Plus and ESPN Plus. Texas Tech at number 16, NC State. Yeah, why not? Why not the Red Raiders? At NC State. Mark would love this pick. He picked the Wolfpack, though. He hates NC State, being a UNC fan. But Allen Bowman looked good. They upset number 25 Houston last week in Lubbock. And now going on the road, I think they have what it takes. NC State, I don't think has been that great. They should have lost ECU week 1. What did they do last week? I don't remember. They played Charleston Southern. They beat them 55. So yeah, I don't. Devin Leary is good. They have some nice pieces, but I think Texas Tech worth a shot.
Yeah, this one was really close for me. And I'm shocked that NC State's 10-point favorites. I think that's really generous. I would take Texas Tech plus 10, and I wouldn't even think twice about it. For me, because it was such a toss-up, in cases where it's literally I'm on the fence about, I give it to the home team. So that's why I went with NC State. But I could totally see the upset happening. I could totally see the Red Raiders pulling one out, especially because, like you said, NC State really it feels like they haven't lived up to what they were billed as coming into this season. This is a team that people were talking about might, take the ACC from Clemson, and right now I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, so I said the wrong guy. I said Allen Bowman. Wasn't Allen Bowman. Donovan Smith last week. In place of Tyler Schaaf, who was the starting quarterback the week 1 game got hurt against Murray State. But Donovan Smith was great last week against Houston in that double overtime win. So not sure which guy's going to play this week. Schaaf or I would expect they would just keep it rolling with Donovan Smith. But yeah, they put up 63 against Murray State, and then they put up 33 in that double OT win. So yeah, I like the offense for Texas Tech. NC State's got a good defense, but eke it out here. Let's go to overtime again. Texas Tech. Over under is 56. 56. I'm gonna go over. I think.
That's a tough
one. 7 p.m. ESPN 2. Number 11, Michigan State at Washington. I have no clue of what this line is about. Okay, so they're in Seattle. So what?
Yeah.
It's Michigan State.
Right. Yeah. I feel the exact same way. Washington's one of those teams where I just don't understand where they get this like aura of being like a decent like they're just usually not very competitive. Michigan State with Mel Tucker has been really good, and they've had a great start to the season. So for Washington to open as favorites just because they're at home, I just don't get it.
Okay, so neither team has played anyone, right? Washington beat Kent State 45-20. And then they railed Portland State 52-6 last week. Michigan State is the same way. They beat Western Michigan 35-13. And then they shut out Akron 52-0. So it's a rubber match game between two teams that haven't played anyone. But I like Michigan State's offense better. I think maybe they're banking on the fact that Michael Penix has thrown for almost 240 more yards on 16 more completions. And he has a 6-1 touchdown interception instead of Peyton Thorne only has a 4-3. So maybe.
Yeah. Penix has looked really good, and he's another guy that I'm excited to watch in terms of, the NFL draft and things of that nature. But I feel like this is a game where it just like Michigan State could just potentially just completely negate him by just controlling the clock, just running it down their throats, time management. So, yeah, I mean, I love Michigan State plus 3.5 easily.
Jalen Berger, Jarek Broussard, and run the ball. ESPN FPI matchup predictor has them 53.4% Michigan State to win. The total here is 56.5. I'm gonna go under. Let's run the ball. And get a lot of incompletions from Penix.
Mm-hmm.
The 7:30 on ABC. So they get a national game though. So we'll see it on national TV, what it looks like. USF at number 18, Florida. Yeah, sorry, Bulls. This should probably be higher than 24. I think despite Florida's lackluster performance against Kentucky, which I was very happy about, as we all picked the Wildcats last week, I think USF is absolutely terrible, and Florida will just crush them 52-6. So I will take the points of the Gators here.
Yeah. I mean, minus 24 is happy, but I could totally just see it happening because pure talent wise. And it's in the swamp. So, I mean, travel isn't a concern, but that environment is certainly a concern. Yeah. It's not really a rivalry, but it's like still Florida teams.
Over under is 60. I'm going over, even though my score didn't make the over. If it would happen to be that, it's at 52-6, so that'd be just under. But I think I'm gonna go over though 60. 7:30, SEC Network. Number 23, Pitt at Western Michigan. Pitt getting 11 on the road. I wanted to take this game in my plays this weekend. I don't know why. I was just scared about it because I don't know if Keaton Slovis is going to play or not. That's the biggest issue.
Yeah. I mean, I think Pitt's a team that they're going to do just fine without Slovis, that their offense won't look as proficient. But I think that defense is still going to get the job done. I still think that they could cover that minus 11. Yeah, I mean, this is a get-back game for them. I think that, you lose a close one, to a really good team in Tennessee. There's a little bit more energy going into the next week. So,
yeah, Western Michigan was another one I was talking about. ESPN changed some of the logos up on me. Like Alabama, they changed their logo from the circular Crimson Tide logo to the A now. And they changed Western Michigan. This is the second time they've changed Western Michigan's, though, because they went from the W with the Broncos sign in front of it and to that just weird brown circle, yellow W. And I was like, what even is this?
Yeah.
With the Washington football team all over. and then they go to this now, the Mustang logo there. So I don't know. That one's still weird too, because it's like, I feel like it needs more color to like fill the stencil out, but
yeah. Well, and they're messing with it. I like the original, just the horse kind of in the PJ Fleck era unis and stuff like that. They had a good look, man. They're messing with it.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. The over-under here is 47.5. Relatively low. I think they're going to have to lean on Israel Abanikanda here to run the ball a lot. So I'm going to take the under. Trust Pat Narduzzi's defense can shut him out or not allow many points. 7:30 ESPNU. SMU at Maryland. This is one of our few non-ranked games. I think it's going to be a great game. In College Park, Maryland. We're all on the Terps. The Fighting Dave Meweyes, as we like to say. Of course, you don't know who Dave Mewey is, Logan, but Mark and I's professor at Georgia, Dave Mewey, great dude. We'll have to have him back on the show sometime soon. But yeah, he worked at Maryland, so that's why I call him the Fighting Dave Meweyes there.
Nice.
But yeah, Talia Tagovailoa, man, that's pretty much the reason why I'm taking. I mean, Tanner Mordecai is very good on his own right for SMU, but it's at home. I mean, the Terps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. This was a close one again for me too. Boiled down to 3 reasons for me. The home field advantage, and then 2 guys, Raheem Jarrett and Dante Damas Jr. Those 2 guys can ball. And you just mentioned Tualia can sling it. So I think that offense is going to be really fun to watch. And I do think in the end, it'll be a little too much for SMU to handle. But I think it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, haven't seen it yet. I think Tanner Mordecai might be missing Danny Gray though, however, and Grant Calcaterra as well. Over under is 73. How do we like 73? Do we get a barn burner in Maryland?
See, that one's dangerous because like I could see it being them both scoring 40 points, and it just being
I think it's usually safe with a 70-point spread to go under if it's not a big play. This game is 7:30 on FS1. Louisiana Tech, the Bulldogs at number 5. Clemson, Tigers getting 33 at home in Death Valley. Yeah. Give me Louisiana Tech plus 33. I still don't like DJ.
Yeah. I mean, Furman covered, didn't they? So
they did. Yeah. And that's what I was like, bro. Clemson beat Furman 35-12. The only thing that I hated is that Klubnik didn't look that great in that game. He only went 1 of 4 for like -2 yards. So if he would have looked good in that game, I think there would have had to been a question this week if Klubnik would have got the start.
Yep.
But I believe it will be DJ still. Over under is 54. I am going over. 8 p.m. ACC Network. UTSA at number 21, Texas. The Longhorns coming off heartbreaker at home against Bama. Roadrunners, they all that they do is play close games because they've been to overtime twice already this season. They lost triple overtime by 1 point or in triple overtime to a 2-point conversion for Houston. And then they beat Army last week in what was a crazy game. I unfortunately didn't get to watch it, but I did watch the overtime. 41-38 though for UTSA. Safe to say they don't have a defense, giving up 37 and 38 points, but they have an offense, 35, 41 points. Who's starting at quarterback? That's what I want to know for Texas. I don't believe it would I don't think it would be Quinn Ewers. I don't think he could be back. I mean, I didn't hear exactly what happened.
Yeah, I don't know if they said yet.
Oh, wasn't it a shoulder, an AC joint? I think it was. So I don't think he would be back at this point. I would have to think it'd be Hudson Card. So this one was actually pretty close, I thought, because I do really like UTSA. I just haven't picked them yet this year. I was going to give Mark UTSA to let him lone wolf the Roadrunners, but I went with Texas because I think that's what he would do instead. But yeah, I think UTSA could very well cover this game, especially if Hudson Card is the starter. They're going to have to lean on Bijan Robinson. But UTSA, I think, covers. Texas wins.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go Texas as heavy favorites, I think, here. I was incredibly impressed with what Texas was able to do against Bama, especially once Ewers went down. Still hanging into it, and I think even maybe with some better time management in the fourth, they come away winning that game. So I do not believe Texas is back, and I think they should stop saying something like that. But what I will say is I think Texas is coming back, and I think they're going to be competitive in the Big 12. That conference is very up for grabs this year. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm kind of excited for the program.
Over under 59.5. I mean, if it turns into a UTSA game, it's going to sail over. I don't think so, though. I think Bijan, like I said, Bijan Robinson's going to run well in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it does go over, though. If Bijan just scores like 60-yard touchdown. But I would think I'm going to go with the under 59.5. 8 p.m. You know where this game is at? Longhorn Network. The Horns.
Of course it is.
Here we go. Montana State at Oregon State. Yeah, I gave Mark the Bobcats here. Look, I do think that Montana State has a legitimate shot at winning this game because they're the number 4 team in the FCS. Like I said, Missouri State is number 5. I was very close to picking them, but it's in Corvallis. The Beavers spurned me last week when they beat my Fresno State Bulldogs. So I'm going to go back to the Beavers like I had week 1 when they played Boise State. You've been on the Beavers all 3 weeks.
Yeah. Oregon State's quietly been a pretty good team the last, however many months, year and a half it's been. So yeah, I mean, I'm going with Oregon State again. I think that look, until they prove otherwise, they're a pretty decent team, and I'm going to keep picking them as such.
Yeah, and they I think last week was a very good test for them, and coming back against Fresno State, they got to have this win, because if they can get this win, they go into next week 3-0, hosting USC. I mean, Corvallis is going to be just packed.
Rocking. Yep.
And I'm gonna wait to see your picks next week if you stay with your Beavers.
We'll see.
The Trojans.
We'll see. It'll dictate on what Oregon State does in this game, and then what USC does against Fresno State.
Yeah, which we'll talk about in a couple games.
Yep.
This game is 8 p.m. Pac-12 Network. Number 13 Miami on the road at number 24 Texas A&M. Aggies getting 6 at home. You're lone wolf in the Canes. I don't blame you. Yeah, Texas A&M just lost to a very good Appalachian State. I tried to tell everyone App State was going to at least cover one outright. Okay, App State's a good team, but I'm picking A&M again because Miami struggled as well. So they did beat Southern Miss. They beat them 30-7. The end score does not tell the whole story of the game. They struggled mightily in the first half, got it going in the second half, but Tyler Van Dyke was not that great. Had to do it with their running game, which that is how Appalachian State just beat A&M. They ran it very well against this Aggie defense. Max Johnson, for anyone that doesn't know, is going to be the starter. Haynes King to the bench. I think it's going to be a good change of pace. Max Johnson did pretty well at LSU. So I'm going to go with Max Johnson, Brad's son.
Yeah, so for me, I really don't like having to pick Miami in any situation. I think they're another one of those programs that usually is just skating by based on a reputation of over 2 decades ago at this point. But for me, what this came down to is the quarterback position. Texas A&M obviously kind of has a quarterback controversy on their hands a little bit here. Like you just mentioned, new starter this week, Max Johnson. Miami has an entrenched starter in Tyler Van Dyke. I mentioned last week how I don't view him as highly in terms of what some NFL circles are viewing him right now, which is the number 1 overall pick, but I still think he's a very good quarterback. I think he's a good prospect. And I think in that sense, I'm giving the edge to Miami because quarterback play is so important. Yeah.
Over-under is low, and lower. 44.5. There's no way, right? No way it goes under 44.5.
I mean, I think that number is based a lot in part of the App State game last week. That was a low scoring affair. Yeah, I don't see it happening this time around. So I'd hit the over.
We're hammering the over.
Mm-hmm.
9 p.m. ESPN. That's a late game in College Station. Good Lord.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's only 8 o'clock there, but still. Yep. We do our times in Eastern, not in Central where we're actually shooting. San Diego State at number 14 Utah. Safe to say Utah got it back on track last week when they I don't know if Southern Utah showed up or not. Somehow they did because they did give them 7 points. But 73-7 was that score.
Southern Utah showed up to collect the check. That's they did.
And look, I already took the points in this game. I think Utah is absolutely going to destroy San Diego State. San Diego State is not the San Diego State that they have been the past couple of years. And I don't really know what happened to them, but they have just been terrible this year.
Yeah. And Utah is still a very good team. I think I lone wolfed the upset with Florida, but that doesn't negate how I feel about Utah in any way. I still think they're a very good team. I think they could easily win the Pac-12. So, yeah, I agree. Utah on a landslide.
Yeah, SDSU's 2 games, 38-20 loss against Arizona. And then for a moment, they were struggling last week against Idaho State. They did end up winning that 38-7, but again, Idaho State's not that great of an FCS school. So, but yeah, I think Utah take the points, and it's at a nice number, 21 even. Over under is another low one, 48.5. Give me the over. Utah is going to roll. They're going to cover that by themselves, I think. 10 p.m. ESPN 2. Here we go. Fresno State at number 7, USC. No one wanted to take Mr. Hainer on the road. He did it last year to another Pac-12 team. He went into the Coliseum, into the Rose Bowl, and beat UCLA last year. Gonna have to go back to California to face USC. I'm not saying that he's gonna do it. I'm just saying that he does have the ability to do it. Jake Haener can throw for 400 yards and 6 touchdowns if he needs to win this game. But USC is like really good. And Jordan Addison should be the front runner for the Heisman right now.
Yeah. If this was the USC of last year, I would have probably taken Fresno State to upset, but it's not. And they've really just hit the ground running with Lincoln Riley, Caleb Williams, and Jordan Addison. The chemistry is on point. Really scary, to be honest with you. If your other teams in the, college football sphere, California is such a big recruiting ground. And now that they have a bona fide top tier coach, they're going to be able to keep a lot of those in-state guys. So I'm betting on Caleb Williams and Jordan Addison until somebody proves me wrong.
Oregon State next week. Over under is 74, and I am hitting the over button. Like I said.
Really?
Jake Haener's a good quarterback, dude. This one's going to be a barn burner. And I know Kelly in Vegas for Barstool, she likes Fresno State plus. She got him at 12.5. Lucky for her. But yeah, she likes Fresno State's spread. And they are actually plus 375 money line, or they were at least when she put her underdog parlay out this week. So you can get them on a pretty penny if you somehow get them and they win on the money line there. But yeah, I'm hitting over 74. Barn burner in LA. 10:30 on Fox. Pac-12 After Dark.
Yes, sir. I'm hoping to watch that one.
And then our last FBS game, North Dakota State at Arizona. Shout out to our guy, Pat Dahl, NDSU alum. And it's a Bison board here. Why not? Bro, North Dakota State's number 1. They've been number 1 for a while in the FCS. They're as close to an FBS team as a school can get.
Yep.
And they're better than Arizona.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned, I think, on one of the previous shows how, NDSU could, they could transfer to the FBS pretty seamlessly and I think be pretty competitive in a majority of the conferences you could put them in. So, yeah, I like them over Arizona, who is not not one of those programs that is a stalwart.
Yeah, Jaden DeLora. I watched the Arizona-Mississippi State game last weekend, and Jaden DeLora was not looking that great. He didn't look like he did when he played at Washington State. Obviously on a worse team, Arizona, than Washington State. But North Dakota State, Cam Miller has surprised me. I didn't think he was that great when we had the FCS season in the spring 2 years ago. But he has surprised me, has came in, solidified that quarterback position there. And my guy, I love Hunter Luepke, bro. He is going to be an NFL player. The big man, number 44, I think he wears. 44. Man can rumble. So Hunter Luepke is going to score at least once in this game. 11 p.m. on FS1. FCS game of the week. I think it's going to be a good one. It is number 9 Delaware at number 17 Rhode Island. This is a Colonial Athletic Association matchup, the CAA. We all got the Blue Hens up on the board. And really, the only reason I'm taking them is because I live near Delaware. So taking the Blue Hens.
Well, that's better than my reason. I picked Delaware because I like their logo. So
URI, I don't even remember what URI's mascot is. I don't know. But also Delaware, reasoning behind picking them. Week 1, they went into Annapolis and beat Navy 14-7. Now we know Navy sucks, but I know because I had them plus 5.5 last week and they got railed by Memphis. So yeah, Navy sucks this year, but or beat them. So that's something. And they're a top 10 team. Yeah, this game's not broadcast on ESPN Plus because it's not a Missouri Valley game. That's the only FCS conference that has a contract. ESPN. Okay. NFL pick standing. Bro, Mark actually got us last week. For him not actually picking. He actually got us. I did do all Mark's picking and he gets this. But anyways, yeah, 8-5-1 for Mark, 7-6-1 for me, 6-7-1 for you. Losing record to start, Logan.
Tough look. Week 1, looking to bounce back, It's a fluke, Ask any Packers fan. Week 1 doesn't matter.
I'm waiting for the RELAX quote again.
It's coming.
Okay. So Patriots at the Steelers, starting off with the 1:00 games. Yeah. Mark is lone wolfing the Patriots here in freaking Acrisure Stadium. But yeah, regardless of TJ Watt being out, Alex Highsmith had 3 sacks last week.
Yep.
So I think they're going to be fine on defense. Minka Fitzpatrick was a game changer. And the linebackers, you didn't notice them because Miles Jack did a fine job, had double-digit tackles. And I think the defense is going to roll. The offense has to pick it up. Najee's playing, which is great to see. But Mitch left it. I think Mitch left the door open for Mitch or Kenny Pickett. He doesn't. If they win again, okay. But if Mitch doesn't play well, if the offense doesn't play well again, how can you not think about Pickett already?
Yeah. Yeah, no question. It was a defensive win last week, but I think it's going to be a repeat performance. The Patriots offense has looked awful. It's looked awful since the beat reporters were talking about it in training camp. It's looked awful in preseason. It looked awful in week 1. And the Steelers defense, I have picked up this week the Steelers defense in every fantasy league I've been able to. Okay. For them to put up the performance they get against the Bengals with all that firepower, you're telling me they can't repeat it against the Patriots, who have an offensive coordinator battle right now between Matt Patricia and Joe Judge, neither of whom who has offensive really playing calling background. Give me the Steelers, man. Give me the Steelers all the way.
Yeah, I was shocked last week. My boys got it done in Cincinnati. It was a nice surprise. But yeah, I need Mitch to step it up on offense, or number 8's going to be coming out fairly soon.
Mm-hmm.
I need Najee to freaking get some points this week. Luckily, he scored, or else it would have been very poor. It'd been like 4 points for him last week. So they can't run the ball yet.
Mm-hmm.
Over under here is 40.5. I am going under. Patriots offense sucks, like we said. Both offenses. Not very good. Panthers at the Giants. You're lone wolfing Saquon's thighs. Look, Baker, I think they're going to build on that second half. In a game that they should have won. We're going back to our key word for week 1, fluke.
Okay.
Who would have seen a freaking 58-yard field goal win from a rookie kicker? But I was excited with the Panthers coming back. I thought Baker was nice. He was calm, steadied the offense in the second half, played very well. And I think they're going to carry that over to this game. The Giants were a surprise last week. And Saquon is back after 1 week anyways.
Yeah, for me, this came down to the coaching situation. I just don't think Matt Rule has it in him. I think at this point you can make the determination that the Panthers should probably move on. Even though it's very early in the season, that seat is scalding hot at this point. In contrast, I do really like Brian Daboll. His sort of kind of meteoric rise, I think was reflecting kind of how things looked in week 1. It was a pretty gutsy, kind of win there to beat the Titans, who were on paper or perceived to be a much better team, even though we've talked about how we think the Titans are going to struggle. They're still expected to win that game, and I still expect them to win that game. But the Giants look good, man. And like you said, Saquon's looking good. He's looking healthy. It's hard to describe how important it is for these offenses to get their stud running backs back to form. And so far, we've seen it from Saquon in week 1. We're still looking a little bit for CMC to kind of be that guy for Carolina. It'll definitely be a fun watch to kind of see. But for me, I'm going with the Giants at home.
Yeah, it's another tough matchup for CMC to run the ball against. The Browns' defensive line, very good at stopping the run. So is the Giants. The Giants are probably one of the most underrated interior defensive lines in the league, with Dalvin Tomlinson in there. And who else do they have in there? I can't remember who their other D tackle is, but they are very good in the middle there and good at stopping the run. So, yeah, I have CMC in a couple leagues. I'm hoping he can get back on track, catch the ball more this game than he did last week. Over under is 43.5. I'm going under again. You look at both of the games last week for these teams, and while the Panthers were in a 24-26 game, I think it's going to be more like the Giants game, 21-20, or even lower, 17-16, something like that. This one used to be more fun when it was Sam Darnold versus Baker. Now it's Joe Flacco versus Jacoby Brissett. So I wanted to take the Jets. I couldn't take the Jets 2 weeks in a row. The Browns looked pretty good with Jacoby. Even though, Jacoby, you need to throw to Coop and you need to throw to David Bell. No one has Donovan Peoples-Jones in fantasy, Jacoby Brissett. No one has Peoples-Jones. So throw to Bell, throw to Cooper in this game.
It's good advice, I think. Yeah, for me, Browns at home, like you said, they looked pretty decent against the Panthers last week. The Jets, on the other hand,
Flacco did throw for 370 and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He did throw for 370 that last week.
I mean, it would just be the most hilarious Jets thing if like Flacco ended up being the starter, like even once Zach Wilson comes back. But yeah, I just think that especially defensively, the Browns are just too talented on that side of the ball to lose at home.
I'm hoping Joe keeps throwing it to Corey Davis and Michael Carter, though, because I picked Davis up in a bunch of leagues. And am actually going to start Carter this week when I did last week, and he scored 17 points.
Yep. I said Michael Carter was going to get the Aaron Jones-like role. No one wanted to believe me. Everyone was saying, no, Breece Hall's going to get 25 touches a game.
Over-under is low. It's the only one under 40. 39.5. I'm going to go over. Over. Give me the barn burner in Cleveland. Not really. The Browns' defense is going to stop the Jets, but I think they can get enough points to hit 40. 24. 20. Commanders at the Lions. I was going to give Mark Washington. I really wanted to, because I do think it's going to be a good game. But we're going to eat some kneecaps this week, and we're going to grit it out with Dan Campbell and Detroit.
Yeah. This was a toss-up for me because Wentz actually looked really good last week. But as a team, the Lions looked great last week too, holding it to a 3-point loss against a very good Eagles squad. So at home, like I said, when there's usually a toss-up, we'll give it to the home team. I think the Lions are on the up and up, as I've said multiple times. I think this could be a coming-out party for them.
Yeah, we'll see if DeAndre Swift can continue. He had a crazy good game last week.
Mm-hmm.
So did Jahan Dotson for Washington. So
yeah,
if both of those continue, I do expect Wentz to have another good stat line though against this Lions defense. Over under is 48.5. Over. I mean, how can you not with what the Lions game was last week? The Commanders game was also a 50-point game, 28-22 over the Jags. So, yeah, how can you not just smash the over in this one? Even though it's relatively high, I think it's the highest one of the week for NFL. Bucks at the Saints. Yeah, you're lone wolfing, Tom. It's fine. You can do that. Yeah, that's fine with me. I'll take Jameis all day. Look, Tom Brady has never beaten the New Orleans Saints in the regular season as a Buccaneer. So I'm going with history here. I'm going with the Saints defense, and the Saints are going to win this just like they did last year when they won in Tampa. They won 9-0. That's how they're going to do it this game. And who does Tom have healthy on offense?
Yeah, I thought quite a lot about that because the Saints seem to have had the Buccaneers number as of late. But the only thing is that this is a very different roster than what they've had. I know Michael Thomas is back. I know they got Chris Olave. Marcus Williams gone. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's gone. Secondary looks different than what it usually is. I know they got Tyrann Mathieu. But I think I had picked the Saints to be pretty good until some stuff started happening, the injury with Penning, them unloading Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I think I'm going to pump the brakes on that, and I'm going to go with the Buccaneers toss-up. But in this case, instead of the home game being the toss-up, for me, the toss-up's Tom.
I just don't know. Like I said, who is going to be healthy for the Bucs offense? Look, Chris Godwin's already ruled out with his hamstring injury. Donovan Smith is doubtful. Josh Wells going to play there again, probably at left tackle. And then you have Mike Evans, Julio Jones, Russell Gage, and Leonard Fournette, all questionable. They're all dinged up already. So they're going to have to throw every ball to like Cam Brate. They're going to run 13 personnel the whole game. Or 31. I always get
Scotty Miller, baby.
I always get them flipped. Which one comes first, running backs or tight ends in the numbers? But whichever one it is, they're gonna run 3 tight ends the whole game.
Scotty Miller, man, the guy I see in my nightmares.
They're gonna give Cade Otton a lot of looks this week. Love Cade Otton because him and Ko Kieft were active last week. Kyle Rudolph wasn't. He was inactive, which was interesting, I thought. I did not expect Ko Kieft to be active. I didn't even know Ko Kieft when he went to Minnesota. So I had never heard of when the Bucs drafted him. But anyways, this game over under 44.5. Under. Yeah, under. No, 44.5 is not happening. Under. Both defenses very good. Okay, the 0-1 Indianapolis Colts at the Jags. Again, history. The Colts haven't won in Jacksonville. I don't have the exact year, but I think it's 2014. I think that's the last time they won in Jacksonville. So, yeah. Andrew Luck was the last Colts quarterback to win in Jacksonville. But anyways, that's why. That's literally my only reason for this game. And the fact that while I do love the Texans and I love Davis Mills, the Colts probably should have won that game. They came all the way back to tie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, for me, the Jags, I thought they overperformed than what I expected them to do week 1, and the Colts massively underperformed. So in this case, I went with the Jaguars because I still think the Colts kind of have some stuff to figure out. Now, the good news is that they still have time, even if they lose this game, to figure some stuff out because they did get it to a tie.
And they're tied for first in the division.
Yep, which is very significant actually when you think about it. Because 0-2 is much different than 0-1-1.
Yeah.
So going with the Jags. Still think the Colts have to get some stuff figured out. I think they will figure it out. But I mean, the other thing going into this too is that Pittman's questionable.
No Alec Pierce.
Yep, and Alec Pierce is out, so that could be a scratch.
One thing the Colts do already have figured out from last year, Jonathan Taylor is still pretty good. He ran for like 160 last week. Yeah. I
could have told you that. I'm not sure why people overthought Jonathan Taylor so much when he was coming out. But big dude, runs like a track athlete because he was a track athlete.
45 over under 45 under 23-20. Jags get it. Dolphins at the Ravens. Yeah.
You did it.
Lamar sucks.
Yeah, I was just gonna say this is just because you're a certified Lamar hater.
No, look, Look, the Dolphins looked awesome last week. Tua to Tyreek, that connection is already flourishing. Tua still has the connection with Jalen Waddle, as we saw on that 4th and 7, 60-yard touchdown or whatever it was. And the defense is lights out right now, even without Byron Jones, who is on IR for the first 4 or PUP for the first 4 weeks. So they have continued. The running game was good last week with Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert. So, yeah, give me Miami. Okay, the Ravens beat the Jets 24-9. So what? Play someone real this week and see how it goes, Lamar.
Yeah, the Jets aren't even a real team, actually. If you think about it. This is a pretty popular upset, and I can totally see it, and I almost went with it as my upset of the week. It was between that and the Jags. Ended up going with the Jags. I love Mike McDaniel. Like you said, the connection with Tyreek Hill is already there. I think that the Ravens do have some questions defensively, especially in the secondary. Can that secondary be healthy? Things of that nature. But I think, unlike you, unfortunately, I am a certified Lamar lover. Part of the reason is dynasty purposes. But I think this is a game where defensively, the Dolphins could do everything right in, their assignments, in, locking up the receivers, and Lamar could just be the better athlete and get the yards on the ground that they need to convert the chains and keep control of this game. So yeah, go with Baltimore.
Hey man, the Dolphins got them last year in Miami, 22-10. They completely shut Lamar down. So I fully expect that to happen in this game. Over under is 44.5. I'm gonna go over. Just barely. Falcons at the Rams. We don't need to talk about this game a lot. The Falcons
move it along. Yeah.
The Falcons should have won last week, probably. But my boy Will Lutz told everyone in fantasy, bro, you got to get Will Lutz. Kicked the game winner from 50 yards out, whatever it was, and sent the Falcons packing in a miraculous comeback, 16 points in the fourth quarter. But yeah, 0-1. The Rams have to win this game. I mean, if they want to do anything in the NFC, they can't go 0-2. So, and that would just be like blowing up the league if Marcus Mariota goes on the road and beats LA.
Yeah. You'd be like, what year is this? Like, is this 2016? Like, what is happening in football land? Yeah, this is another one. It is another get back game, at home against a not great roster. Hey, credit to Marcus Mariota, looked really good week 1. Credit to the Falcons, but I think also that loss is going to be more deflating than people realize because they should have won that game, even though nobody expected them to. By the time they were in the game, they should have won that game, and yet again, they fumbled away a lead. So I think that could be pretty demoralizing. I think, after losing last week, Donald's going to be on fire. Yeah. Pre-show, I tried to pick the Rams as my mortal lock if I had to put my life on the line. But yeah, I would ride the Rams, man.
If they were 9.5, you could have taken it.
I would have done it.
Over under is 46.5. I'm going under, despite what both of those games looked like for these teams last week. Rams defense looked like crap, but under. Seahawks at the Niners, NFC West. Another get back game, like you said. I mean, the same thing Cindy said about the Niners, as I did with the Rams. You cannot go 0-2 if you want to do anything you're going to see this year. The Seahawks shocked everyone by winning, so they're feeling good. But you got to go up against Bradley Chubb had a good game against Charles Cross last week. Now you get Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
So even though Bosa plays on the left, I believe, so he's going to go against Abe Lucas, and not Charles Cross. I think, anyways. I don't know. I know Joey plays on the left, but I believe Nick does too.
Yeah. I'm not sure which side he does. I think I've seen him on both. But yeah, I almost picked this as my lock. But the Trey Lance variable is still there. And this is another case where the Niners very much underperformed week one, and the Seahawks very much overperformed. I am praying for a Seahawks win. the absolute chaos that would ensue in the Seahawks being 2-0 and leading the division, and the 49ers going 0-2, and all the questions about, like, okay, is Jimmy coming back? Do we have to go back to Jimmy? Like, that would be insane. So for the storylines, I'm picking the Seahawks. For actual what I think is probably likely going to happen, and for purposes of trying to get above 500 in our rankings, I'm going with the 49ers.
Over-under is 41. Under. I like another one of those 17-14 type of games.
Yep.
Jeff Wilson. Big time. I got him locked in my prize picks play. Bengals at the Cowboys. 0-1. Who would have thought both of these teams would be 0-1? We knew the Cowboys would probably be 0-1 playing against the Bucks, but Bengals and Steelers week one, no one saw that coming. This is my hammer lock, Max Whale play, 10-unit, mortgage the house. You need to put everything on Bengals -7 because Cooper Rush is not that guy. He's not number 4. He's not number 4. Okay. And even when the Cowboys had number 4,
yeah,
their offense was crap last week.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb needs to get more involved if the Cowboys want to win, and I don't think you can just throw to Dalton Schultz all game and win. So
yeah, this is another get-back game for the Bengals, and I think they do it. I'm super bummed because I was super excited for this game on the schedule because I thought that it would be kind of competitive and like a back-and-forth type of deal. But I don't know. We mentioned how I think, the Dak injury, there's some really good news there, but at the same time, I'm not sure that I think the Cowboys underestimated how much Amari Cooper brought to that offense. And they kind of just assumed that CeeDee Lamb could step into that role, and he might not be ready for it yet. We don't know, but I do think the Cowboys go to 0-2 here. I think the Bengals do get back, and we start seeing a little more of what we expected kind of from week one. Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, they're projecting Dak to come back for that either the Rams game or the Eagles game. If he comes back for the Eagles game, I'm telling you, he's not going to want to come back for that game because it's in Philadelphia, and that's not going to be a good atmosphere for him. But realistically, I would not be shocked to see the Cowboys go into Philadelphia at 1-4. I think they're going to be able to win one of the two Giants or Commanders games. but I don't think they're going to beat the Rams, and I definitely don't think they're going to beat the Bengals. So, yeah. I mean, they could go into Philadelphia 0-5, realistically.
Yeah. It's certainly a tough time to lose your franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
That schedule is murder.
After the Philly game, they get Lions Bears. So, they get the whole. Actually, that's crazy that the schedules did that. The schedule makers did that. They get the whole NFC North after that Eagles game. They go Lions, Bears, Packers, Vikings, all right in a row. That's funny. They separate Bears and they get a bye week before the Packers game though. So, anyways, yeah, Hammerlock Bengals -7 over under 41.5. Under the Cowboys offense aren't going to score enough points to get this to go over. The only thing that I picked the Cowboys in this is their defense. Their defense was lights out last week, allowing 19 points, consistently stopping the Bucs in the red zone, holding on to field goals. Micah Parsons has to be the guy again. He's the only way that the Cowboys will be close in this game. Texans at the Broncos. I was close. I was close. I wanted to take my boy Davis Mills because I thought they were going to get the win last week. And if they would have, I might have taken him here. But Russell Wilson's going back home to Denver. And the Broncos can't go 0-2 in the AFC West, let alone the AFC. Just their own division. They can't afford to go 0-2.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if they have better time management last week, there's a good chance the Broncos are 1-0 right now. We talked about that. Yeah, I like you said, they can't go 0-2, and I just don't see them going 0-2. I mean, everyone expected the Seahawks to lose, and they didn't, and I get that. But again, that was week 1. You can make adjustments now. You can see kind of what went wrong. And I think this is kind of where you're going to see the talent start to separate itself a little bit.
Didn't Peyton said timeout 62 times.
I think that was all of America when they were watching that game.
Over under 46. I think I do like the over. I think the Texans are going to give the Broncos a close game. I actually do like the Texans spread. I think 10 points is a good number. And again, I don't know why people think that the Texans suck. Like, Davis Mills has proven that he can keep his team in game.
Yeah.
And he has a decent supporting cast with Dameon Pierce, who didn't have the greatest, debut, but the Broncos gave up a good amount of rushing yards. Not a lot. Like, they didn't give up. I don't think they didn't give up over 100 yards, but Rashad Penny ran for 5 yards a carry. He ran 12 times for 60 yards. So I think there's definitely ground to gain there. And I'm hoping, week 2, they shoulder a little bit more on Dameon this game, because Rex Burkhead took a lot of carries last week, but I'm hoping they incrementally give Dameon more work every week, especially in fantasy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like Texans +10 though. Over under 46. I already said over. Cardinals at the Raiders. We are a part of the black hole this week. Yeah, the Cardinals are bad, dude. They are really they got. I mean, granted, it was 1 week against one of probably the best quarterback in the league. Debatable, but they got shellacked at home by the Chiefs last week, and the Raiders aren't that far off. Like, Derek Carr is not that far off from Patrick Mahomes. I'm gonna say it. Derek Carr's been. People think Derek Carr isn't that great, but Derek Carr is a really good quarterback, and he has a guy now that he threw to 17 times last week.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah.
But bro, it's so easy to pick against the Cardinals when you have a good receiving core. The Cardinals still do not have corners. They have Byron Murphy, but he can't cover everyone. They have Budda Baker in the back end, but he can't cover everyone either. So it's pick your matchup wherever you want, Derek Carr, and throw the ball.
I'm going to take it one further. The Cardinals don't have a defense, kind of in general. Isaiah Simmons has not really panned out kind of the way they hoped he would be. I saw quite a lot of people on Twitter kind of critical of his game because they hoped to feature him a lot against Travis Kelce, and that went about as you'd expect. As we'd expect, they felt differently, and it did not go well. So, yeah, you look at, they're not going to be able to get home, and they don't have the secondary to cover these weapons. So, yeah, Raiders at home.
It's a Chandler Jones revenge game, too.
Yep. Yeah.
How many sacks is he going to get on Murray?
Well, and they have a suspect O-line, too. There's some holes on that O-line. So, yeah. I mean, we said it in our preseason stuff. The Cardinals as a roster aren't very good, and they could, just like the Titans, I think they could face a lot of adversity. I don't think this is the team that they were last year.
And we see how Kyler cannot survive without Hopkins.
Yeah.
They desperately need this 6 weeks to go fast.
Mm-hmm.
So do I, because I have him on my bench in a couple of leagues.
Yep.
Waiting on him. But I knew that, gotta wait on him. But over under is 51.5. Do you think it's another high scoring game like it was week 1 against Arizona? Or do we think it's more along the Chargers Raiders game where it was 24-20? 24-19. I would elect for the high scoring game. And finally, Sunday Night Football. Your Packers at home. The longest running rivalry in the NFL. Bears at the Packers. Does Aaron figure it out?
Yeah, so I want to present this unbiasedly. So here are the two avenues to win for both of these teams, all right? Coming off of an embarrassing week 1 loss, Aaron Rodgers in Sunday night primetime against the Bears, who he's housed, okay? So you're going to have a pissed off Aaron Rodgers. You're going to have Sunday night against the Bears. I mean, historically, that hasn't gone well for Chicago. At the same time, the Bears won week 1 when nobody expected them to, all right? They're already a leg up, all right? So they're already playing with house money, and no one expects them to win this game either. They're 10-point underdogs. The Packers have everything to lose in this game because if they go 1-2, week 3 is against the Buccaneers. Okay. So, and don't think I haven't thought about all this, about the possibility of going 0-3 to start out and what that would mean with storylines and everything. But I do think, again, I think the Bears, I think it was a little bit of a fluky win. I understand that they played in the same weather that San Fran did, but you still have to factor that into your assessment of the game. I think in a more controlled environment. It's at home at Lambeau. Again, Rodgers coming off of a loss against the Bears. I think you're going to see kind of historically what's happened.
All right. So I'm locking in Aaron Rodgers, 300 yards, 5 touchdowns. What I'm locking in here for this game. But yeah, I don't know if you knew this. Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears.
Yeah.
It says that on Wikipedia anyways.
Yeah. It's actually NFL history because usually active players can't own another team. It's like collusion or something. But
I just want to know how many times Aaron Rodgers is going to flick off a Bears fan in the game. He's every time he scores a touchdown, he's gonna find one. Every but yeah, I think the Packers are gonna have a good time. And if I was Matt LaFleur, first play, we're gonna run the exact same play as last week, and Christian Watson better freaking catch it.
Yep. Yeah.
Because if he doesn't, I would make an ultimatum. I'd be like, Christian, if you don't catch this ball, you're not playing the rest of the game. But yeah, I like the Packers. Over under 41.5 though. I'm gonna go a hook. I'm gonna go by the hook. 31-10.
Wow.
By the hook. Yeah. It's a good one. Best bets of the week. Bro, I started off bad. This is what happened last year. It doesn't really get better from here. I should probably change my own rules so I can pick money lines instead of just picking spreads. But I'm not. I'm gonna go the hard route. It's fine. So yeah, Steelers +2 against the Patriots. We already said we both like the Steelers. Defense can get it done. +2 is hard to cover if you lose, but I don't think they're gonna lose. Not at home. Lions -1 against Washington. That's pretty much a money line. It's hard to win by one. So yeah, Lions can win it definitely by 2 at the least. And then, like I said, hammer lock of the week, Bengals -7 at the Cowboys. I absolutely love that. I put that one in very early in the week as well because I was afraid it was going to move, and it hasn't, surprisingly. But I don't know. NFL lines don't move as much as college do. I don't know why, but it's just how it goes. Because I recheck them before the show every week. But yeah, lock standings. Hey, all 1-0. Here we go. Mark and I were on the Eagles last week. You were on the Ravens, unfortunately for me. But I forgot to mention for our records last week, NFL, you went 0-2 on your Lone Wolves. Patriots, Jags, and I went 0-1. That's how Mark got us. I picked the Jets. So not doing that again. Locks of the week here this week, though. You are going with the Raiders against the Cards.
Yeah. Yep. In hindsight, kind of wish I went Bengals, but I kind of wanted to be a little spicy. And like we said, in kind of the matchup review, like I just don't, the way these teams match up, it's like night and day. Like the Cardinals don't have the offense. They don't have the offensive line to stop Chandler Jones and Max Crosby. Okay. And they don't have the defense to cover Hunter Renfrow, Devontae Adams, and Darren Waller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would like to see freaking Zamir White get some playing time last week, but of course, Josh McDaniel being Josh McDaniels brings his Patriots boy along. Brandon Bolden's getting all these touches last week.
Yep. Patriot way.
Yeah, I said it way too many times now. Bengals are my lock of the week. Love Cincinnati. Joe Burrow is going to get it back on track. Jamar Chase is going to have 100 yards and a touchdown. Lock it in. Bengals, as the NFL Network does. Doom. We got to start doing that because I love the NFL Network does that. Mark, he is going with Cleveland at home against the Jets. I think that's a good pick. Jacoby Brissett gets it done. throw it to Amari Cooper. And on the opposite of the lock standings, we all went 0-2 last week in the dog standings. Marks was our dog champion, and he lost just like us. He was riding with me on the Flacco revenge game, +6.5 with the Jets. And you lost on the Jags, +2.5. They lost by 6.
Love the Samford logo though.
But we're going back to the Jags for you, and I'm running with you with Jacksonville +3 against the Colts. They can cover that, and they're going to win outright.
In it together, man. Let's get it. Let's get this bread.
Yeah, and Market, he's going to go with the Saints +2.5 against the Bucks. I hate 2.5 because you kick a field goal and you lose, and it's like you lose. So, but yeah, +2.5. Mark and I like the Saints to win anyways at home. Jameis Winston gets it done. Saints defense gives Tom Brady some problems with the limited skill position players that they do have healthy in that game. Next week, we'll be back NFL Week 3. We'll have 3 games to recap because we got a Monday night doubleheader this week. I don't like how they did it, though. They're going to have games playing at the same time.
Same time, yeah. And they're 2 good matchups.
I know, right? Luckily for myself, we have a 2 TV setup in the with our cable split to both TVs. So we're going to be able to watch both. If you want to come over, Logan, to watch both at the same time, more than welcome. But yeah, it'll be Titans at the Bills, Vikings at the Eagles, and then the Thursday night Week 3 kickoff game is another good one. Steelers in Cleveland at the Browns. Steelers. Why not 3-0 to start the season?
It's a very real possibility, man.
Putting it out there. And as always, we'll recap. We'll talk about all the NFL and NCAA games we have on our schedule. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast on Instagram and Twitter, at FAA_bets. We're going to get it on track on this Sunday. I'm going to put some plays out there. We'll get it back. And then FAApodcast.com is our website. You can check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Thank you, Logan, and we will see you